So as turkey season rolled around, I was super excited, and I decided this year that I was gonna try to shoot one with my bow, and I wasn't gonna hunt with the shotgun until I could get it done with my bow.
All right, hey guys, I'm out here. I just got my new arrows cut and the inserts glued in. Today is Saturday, and youth season started yesterday. So we've been out, we took Faith out this morning and we saw some birds, but we couldn't quite get it done. But I'm out here, I'm sighting in these new arrows. They're the same arrows as my old ones, so it should be on, but I'm just out here making sure that everything is still good and dialed in. So we're gonna shoot for a little bit and see how we're doing. They're all definitely at least in there. So I'll probably shoot it one more time and see if some of them are still hitting low like that. And then we'll go from there, and then I'll probably move it into 10 yards and see where I'm hitting at there.
So the first several days of season, I was going out before school, just trying to see if I could get it done early. Usually in the beginning of season, that's whenever a lot of people have luck, so that's what I was shooting for.
It is opening morning here in Iowa. We got set up here, we were a little late, we had to get gas. I guess it's about 30 degrees this morning and some snow mixed in. We almost didn't come this morning. I've hunted the last 3 mornings and it's been super cold. And we haven't heard a lot of turkeys, but
the wind's blowing so hard you can't hear hardly anything.
Yeah.
So going into the weekend, Dad and I hoped to get a little bit more time out in the field instead of having to go to school every morning, basically right after sunrise. We'd have a little bit more time to maybe catch a gobbler after the hens go to nest.
You know, we had some crazy weather. We had 12 inches of snow yesterday, and now it's 62 degrees today and muddy. And so we're hoping maybe something's gobbling tonight. We're gonna pop up the blind, and I don't know if we'll hunt it or just pop it up, but we're gonna see if we can't roost some birds and see what's going on. Maybe we can get back over here in the morning and get Garrett on another one. So we're gonna go over here and see what we can do.
So Dad and I went in the morning to the blind that we had set up the night before. We heard the birds gobbling right where we had roosted them the night before, perfect. So we were hoping to just call them right off the roost. Unfortunately, they flew down and continued to gobble, but they were just working up and down this draw that was on the property that we couldn't hunt. So we were just gonna hold tight and see if eventually they would break away and come over to us. So as we were sitting there calling here and there every once in a while, we looked down and saw these 2 turkey vultures. Well, there ended up being a hen right down beside them too. So that hen finally worked her way up to our decoys, and she gave us a lot of hope. She was calling and kind of talkative, so we were hoping that maybe having a live bird in the decoys would call those birds over to us. So the live hen ended up working off. She went over the hill, which was kind of good but kind of bad. We wanted her there just as a live decoy, basically. But she worked off away from the birds, which was good because we didn't want her to go over there and be a fresh hen for those birds just to sit on. But we decided, we were like, well, they're just sitting over there, we may as well pack up. So we started packing up our stuff, and Dad was like, I think we should call one more time. And he called and a bird responded. So we decided to sit there for a little bit longer, and about 15 minutes later, they were right at the fence. They crossed the fence right into our field, and we were pretty sure we were gonna get a shot, or at least an opportunity. So as the birds went through the fence, there actually ended up being 2 toms. One would not gobble at any of Dad's calls, and the other one was gobbling his head off every time Dad hit the call. But they came out about 45 yards, and they just kind of skirted us at about 30 yards all the way around us. And I was hoping that they'd come up into the decoys and I could get a shot that I wanted at 10 yards, but they weren't, and I felt comfortable shooting at 30 yards, and I thought that that was going to be my last chance. I drew back my bow, made sure Dad was on him, and that was whenever the real circus began.
How far? 30. Okay, shoot one. Go get him. Go get him. Oh, hurry up. Run him down. Run him down.
So I shot him, and Dad goes, you gotta get out and chase him down. So I jumped out of the blind and went running down this cattle pasture, and the bird actually ended up flying across this little pond that the beavers have made. So I ran across this beaver dam. I got up to the bird, and right whenever I went to grab him, he took one flap forward, and my hand slid down and ended up pulling out his whole entire tail fan, which made me pretty sad, but I was excited to have my first archery bird down.
Of course, right into the beaver dam.
It's a good thing you're a track star.
Oh, man, I about ate it. Here's his fan. There's not enough feathers there. Woo! First bird with the bow. Oh my goodness.
So after I got my archery tag filled in Iowa, my dad and I got invited out to Wyoming by a family friend to go chase Merriams. So the season was supposed to end on May 20th, but due to COVID, they extended the season. So that gave us some time to go out and chase these Wyoming Merriams.
Welcome to Wyoming.
So we're kind of going in blind on these birds, so we got on our hunt stand. We looked at the aerial maps and found this ridge that we thought we could get up on and see if we could just hear some birds gobbling in the morning and kind of give us a place to start. So we ended up setting on this bird that we heard gobbling, and he was on fire. He was gobbling and gobbling. Every call we made, he was gobbling back to us. So he ended up flying down, and we heard him working up this, there was like 2 ditches right there, and he was working up the further one. And we actually ended up seeing him come around the corner and went down in this little dip. And he worked this dip up, and then we saw him through the trees, and then he was right at our decoys before we even knew it. So this Tom came in full strut, ran straight to our premost decoys, and he ran up and spit and drummed right at that Jake, and then he kind of picked his head up like he spooked a little bit, and he turned around and then came right back to the decoys, and I decided that it was going to be now or never.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, that was like textbook perfect. We came in this morning and we planned on walking back to like a big overlook, and we were gonna look down in that little valley and see if we could see something. And we got about halfway or 3/4 of the way, just right here, and we heard the tom gobbling right down in just right down in this little ravine. There we have it. Tagged my first Wyoming bird and my first Merriam ever.
So after I killed my first Merriam, I was super excited. That was an awesome hunt. And I was ready to be the cameraman and see if we could get Dad on the bird out there. So we went out hunting the next couple days, but unfortunately we just couldn't get it done. We had some close encounters, had some jakes up close, but couldn't get a mature tom in whenever we needed him. So hopefully next year we can go back out there. We got a little bit better idea of the layout of the land and where some birds are, and we'll see if Dad can redeem himself.